Hi everybody, it's Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me. This is what I'm going to be making today. I really like these box cards because they fold flat, so they'll fit in your envelope. This one will fit in a 5x5 envelope, but when you open it up, you have something that is nice and three-dimensional that you can stand on your shelf. Stay with me, I'll show you how I made this one. This is a Night of Navy cardstock. Now I've cut it to the wrong size. I should have cut it to 10.5 by 5. I've cut it by mistake to 10 by 5, but I can get myself out of it, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that in just a minute. So I'm taking my scoring tool on my scoring board, and I'm making my first score at 3.5 inches, and then again at 5 inches, and then again at 8.5 inches. And if this was the right size, I would be scoring it again at 10 inches. Now I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to score it again at, let me see, I think I'm going to go with, 2 inches looks about right, but I'm not going to score all the way down. I'm just going to go as far as that first score line there. So what I've also got is another piece of card, which is, well, I guesstimated this one. I guesstimated it at about 1 inch, and I'm only slightly over. And it is, okay, so that is 3 inches, and I'm going to score that in half, and then I'm going to trim it down to about the size of the bottom half of my card, and now that is going to get me out of my mistake. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fold and burnish my card. And now I'm going to trim down as far as that fold line. And I'm going to use my big scissors because that means I can do it in one snip. And now I can score these parts. And that is how my box is going to fit together. And I'm just going to trim off those sides, and then with my little bit of liquid adhesive, tape would be absolutely fine for this. I'm just going to pop that on to one side like so, and I know I've already put the adhesive on there, but I've just realized I don't want to stick that down yet, so I'm just going to get a little bit of a cloth and wipe that off. Okay, so I'm going to cut a piece of card that is 4.5 inches long, and from that I'm going to cut 2 half-inch strips, and then I'm going to score those half-inch strips at 1/2 inch from each end. Now the 1/2 inch width isn't really important, so you know, they could be 3/4 of an inch, they could be a whole inch if you like, but I wouldn't go any skinnier than 1/2 inch. And then I'm just going to fold those over like that. So now I've got 2 pieces that look a bit like that. So I'm going to bring in my card base, and as you can see, I've already had an unsuccessful attempt at sticking things down, putting things like back to front, and I'm going to stick this down so that it is just below that fold line. Okay, and I'm going to put one there that is just like that, and put it right on that fold. And then I'm going to take the other one and I am going to do the same thing. Okay, so now I have 2 pieces that are like that, and I'm going to put little spots of glue there, and I'm just going to fold my card over and give it a good squish. And now I've got my struts in place to put my elements. Right. And now I'm going to put my liquid adhesive on to that back flap, and I am now going to close up the card. Okay, so I'm going to cover my box with some designer series paper now. So this is going to be the back panel, and I've cut it to 3 1/4 inches. So it's just a little bit smaller than the back panel, and it's just a little bit shorter than 5 inches. And I've cut it, I've shaped it so that I've got lots of the turtles up at the top of the card where they will be seen. So I'm just going to carefully slip this into place. This is one of the reasons why I like liquid adhesive, because you have a little bit of wiggle room. And I'm going to pop that over there on one side to dry while I decide what I'm going to do about the other sides of the box. So I'm going to use this paper, which is from the same set, on the bottom of the box, and I think that was about 3 inches. Let me just measure. Yeah, 3 inches. So I'm going to cut this to 2 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to need 2 pieces, 2 3/4 of an inch, and then I'm going to cut one piece that is 3 1/4, and one piece that is 1 1/4. Is that 1 1/4? Yeah, actually I can get them both out of this piece if I'm careful. Brilliant. So I didn't need to trim that other piece after all, but it doesn't really matter because I will use it for something else. Let me put this on one side for a minute. I'm going to need to bring that back in a second though. And let's stick these pieces down. Now it's starting to take shape. So now I need to cover these flaps. And for those, I have this paper. And I need a piece that is, how big is this flap? So if that's 3 inches, so that's going to be 2 inches. So I need to cut my paper that is 1 3/4 of an inch. I think. And again, same thing again. So I want one piece that is 3 1/4 inches, and 2 pieces that are 1 1/4 inches. Just there. Alright, now put that out of the way again. And let's stick these panels into place. So while the glue's been setting, I have been busy and I've done some fussy cutting. So I've taken this piece of paper and I've fussy cut along the tops of the waves, and then what I did, I just took the strip and I measured it up against the card and I just trimmed it to fit. And the paper with this pattern on the back of it, it's got all of these rather gorgeous whales swimming around, and we've got big ones and little ones. So I've cut one big whale and one little whale, and I'm going to start by placing them on to my my box card. Now I did stick it onto a piece of Night of Navy card to give it a little bit of strength, and B, to give me something to stick it to so that it's going to appear above the waves and not be hidden by them. So I'm just going to hold that in place just for a couple of seconds. And make sure that when my box is closed, it's not sticking its tail out where I don't want it. And then I've got the cute little whale. Just trying to decide where I put that one. Now, I'm also going to want to put a sentiment in. So I think that's probably going to go in the back around there. So I'll put this little chappy over here so that he looks like he's in the distance. Okay, and then I've got myself space there for my sentiment. So now I've got my fussy cut waves. I'm just going to pop those into the front of my box, and I'm thinking I should have possibly backed that on a little bit of card, but yeah, it's a bit late now. And I've got this bit left over, so I can trim that. Where shall I put that? I think I'll put that on the back there. You know, waste not, want not. It's just a little bit too short to go all the way across, but if I put it there, slide that over a bit. Well, what do you think? I'm kind of liking that. That's kind of working well for me. Okay, so you know when I said I was going to put a sentiment there, when it came to it, I couldn't bear to cover up all these lovely little turtles in the background. So what I have done, I have stamped this sentiment. It says, "You're kind of a big deal." The stamp set is called Well Done. I used Night of Navy ink on Balmy Blue card, and that was just a little scrap that I had left over from something else, and I just took my snips and I just kind of roughly snipped around the outline, and I am just going to pop that onto the, whoops, try not to drop it, the front panel of the card. That's one of the things I love about Stampin' Up, because their colours all coordinate so beautifully. And that looks like it was almost printed on there, doesn't it? And I'm going to call that done. And there it is. That is the finished card. Now, considering we had a couple of changes of design direction along the way, I'm very pleased with it, and I hope that you like it too. And if you do, come back and see me again sometime, because I would love to see you. But for now, thank you very much for joining me, and I hope I'll see you again sometime soon. Bye-bye.